Welcome to Warriors Conversations. I'm Dr. Dan Johnson, president here at Wisconsin Lutheran College. And in this video series, I'll take you around our campus and interview the Christian servant leaders making an impact here at WLC. And today I'm just so delighted to be in our Schluter Art Gallery with our faculty from our School of Fine Arts and also our School of Communicative Arts. Kristen Jertstedt is a professor of art, head of our art department, and she's also our gallery manager. And Kristen has served WLC since 1995. And Simon Provan is an assistant professor of theater, also the head of our theater department. And Simon has been with WLC going on 9 years. And finally, Dr. Jeremy Zima, 2007 graduate of WLC and now serves as an assistant professor of music. And Jeremy began teaching here in 2013. Maybe just starting with our mission. As you know, our mission is to provide teaching and scholarship rooted in Holy Scripture. And within the arts in particular, our students participate in creative experiences that further develop their God-given talents. And with that in mind, tell us about how faith is expressed in the arts here at WLC. And maybe, Kristen, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, we can go right back to the beginning. The beginning, God made the world. He's a creator. He made us in His image. And so as part of being in His image, we are also creative. And He has this beautiful world for us to look at. And we have many verses in the Bible that tell us to look to His creation, to learn about Him. Look to the animals, for example, in Job, they will teach you. Proverbs 8 talks about wisdom in connection with God creating the world. And so, we have this source for us to be inspired by and to learn from. And so we look at what's around us, and then it's art is woven into all aspects of our life. Our this building, our clothes, toys, and again just art itself, fine arts, graphic design, what we teach here. So, yeah.
Outstanding. Simon, how about you?
There are so many parallels in acting as there are to our faith walk. Theater really is the study of humankind, and when it gets down to it, we're all sinners. So whether we are doing a clearly Christian play or we're doing a secular play, to us at WLC, they're all Christian plays because at the end of the 90 minutes, at the end of the 2 hours, what we see are human beings on stage that need a Savior just like we all do. And the last thing is, with all of that together, really we do this all for God's glory. We hope it opens a door to someone's heart who perhaps isn't a believer, that maybe they want to know more about Jesus. Or, in addition to that, it's encouraging for believers to see this and be reminded that we need Jesus every day.
Amen. Jeremy.
Yeah, Martin Luther famously said, next to the Word of God, music deserves the highest praise. And the Bible is full of injunctions to sing and make music to the Lord. These biblical principles undergird all of our instruction here at WLC, whether in the classroom or on the stage. Our students know that their gifts and talents are gifts from God, and they develop those in order to praise Him further with their talents at piano or voice or on other instruments. Our choirs and bands, whether they're performing religious repertoire or secular music, do all of it to the glory of God. So praising God and our Christian faith is central to everything we do in the music department.
At WLC, how our fine arts curriculum can cross over to other disciplines, I think really differentiates us from other colleges. And perhaps share with us some examples of that unique approach. And Simon, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. Over the past year, the School of Communicative Arts has developed 2 new minors that are purposefully interdisciplinary. The first is script and storytelling, which is a interdisciplinary minor between the theater department and the English department that will focus on writing and creating stories, creating character. And then the other is presentation and performance, which is a interdisciplinary minor between theater and communications, which basically gives either theater students or communication students the opportunity to really get in front of people and get comfortable with that, knowing how to give a professional presentation, and even within that, do some role playing. So we're really, really excited about offering these diverse opportunities for our students.
Jeremy, how about you?
Yeah, some of the unique opportunities our students have at WLC would be that students, no matter what their major are able to be involved in our high-level ensembles. So at a large school, many times those ensembles are reserved for people who major or minor in music, and so we have nurses and we have biologists that participate in band and choir at the highest levels, and they're able to tour and have friends and an experience in college outside of their major that makes them well-rounded as people. And we know that having these kinds of interdisciplinary experiences in the arts help to make our students more well-rounded and attractive to employers because they have such a breadth of experiences and are able to solve problems in a number of different domains.
Christian?
Well, I think being at this small liberal arts college, there's so many opportunities to take other courses in other areas, and arts really permeates so many disciplines. And because we're small, we really get to know the students one-on-one, get to work with them, what are their goals, and then say, these are classes you might want to take in the field that you're interested in. So we have students that take art and biology because they're interested in illustration, or art and theater because they'd like to do stage work, or art and business. We've had students double major in that. And so there's all these options that I think are really great. And if they just went to an art school, they might not get those opportunities. And so it's a real blessing to have those opportunities for students.
Well, as you all know, there are endless career opportunities within the arts. And I know that you feel that our location in particular, right here in Milwaukee, positions our students so well for these fields of study, and maybe just highlight a few of our alums and what they're doing today in the field of the arts. So maybe Jeremy, I'll start with you.
Sure. The first thing I'd like to do is just reinforce that Milwaukee is a fantastic city for music. The opportunities for performance around the city, whether it's in a more popular music field or in art music, opera, symphony, we have fantastic ensembles and opportunities for that, for sure. And also, with the advent of technology and streaming and YouTube and social media platforms, you don't need to move to LA or Nashville to have a vibrant career here in music. We've had several notable alums from the department do a diverse number of things. I mean, for one thing, we've got dozens of high-quality music educators in both choir and band throughout the state and throughout the Midwest. I'd just like to point out one, John Fensky. He's currently the band director at St. Croix Lutheran High School. He has built an excellent and consistently high-quality program there, not only in concert band, but also in jazz. His students go on to receive awards in the Twin Cities all the time, and we're very, very proud of him. I'd also like to point out Rich Freese, who went on to get a graduate degree in music composition from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, but now, speaking of interdisciplinary, finds himself as a leader in online and distance learning. He just recently received a reward from their professional society, and he is kind of a guru for the University of Wisconsin-Madison system on how they handle online and distance learning. And finally, right here in town, I'd like to highlight Tim and Maggie Reavers, both of whom were graduates of this place and are now married. They are leaders in a very, very vibrant art music scene here in the Milwaukee area. Maggie is an in-demand piano accompanist. Tim is a professional vocalist who sings in a number of operatic and musical theater spaces. He's also serving as the musical director for our upcoming musical here at WLC.
Christian?
So one of the reputations that art has is that, you don't really get a job, perhaps. But I have such a long list of students who have been successful in graduating and getting employment. Graphic design, obviously, is kind of the number one, and then art teachers. But we also have art therapists. Many students are self-employed as artists and photographers, museum staff. So Rebecca Jabs would be one. She graduated with a degree in art and teaching, actually, and taught for a while. But then she went on to get her graduate certificate in natural history illustration in California. And so now she's got one job after the other, freelance work. She's making illustrations for a scientist, a natural history book on Wisconsin nature. And then we have Katrina Smith, who was art and theater as well, and she's a director at Sherilyn Wilson Center down the road in Brookfield. Angie Lee and Valerie Kohler both got into graduate school at Sotheby's Institute of Art in London. And so Angie Lee is back in China now, and she's working in the arts. And then Valerie Kohler is actually a registrar for the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. Liz Meister, taking the idea of a mission mind too. She was an interdisciplinary art, business, and comm and history. And now she runs a what's called Thai Village. And so she went back to Thailand because her parents were missionary workers. And so she takes people from the area and they make art and then they sell it and they're able to support themselves and also support the mission in Thailand. So I think that's really great of bringing everything together. Joel Hermanson is another example. He works as a graphic designer in-house for Kohl's department stores. Another graduate, Anna Bienenbender, is a good example of music and art. She's a vocalist for a group in Minneapolis and also has her own full-time art studio and teaches as well. So it's a long list, and I think the other thing too is not to dismiss, I have many students, former students who are parents, and they pass on that creativity and that love of the arts to them. So I think it's just wonderful what the alum have been doing.
It's fabulous. Simon?
Yeah, Dan, you started out by talking about the location, and location is everything. There is so much theater, just like there is music in Milwaukee, but we're also only 90 miles from Chicago, which is the, one of the epicenters for theater in this country. So for our young actors, our students, what a great location to be in. I do want to highlight a few students myself, recent alums and the work that they're doing. LaCrissa Granberry, she's been on fire working all over the country. Currently, she's down at Chicago Shakespeare Theater. Later in the summer, she's going to have a musical that she penned, premiere at Northern Sky Theater, where she's also done a bunch of professional acting work. Megan Jacobs started up a theater in Indianapolis, Theater Unchained. So that's a new venture for her, and they had a very successful first season. Deanna Strauss and Amanda Schumacher are both playwrights. Amanda has had stuff produced in Australia. They both have had plays produced in Milwaukee and Madison, and Deanna recently had a show produced in California, so they're getting their work seen all over. Aaron Sigmund, he's the master electrician at the Milwaukee Repertory Theater. He's been doing that for about 8 years in their main stage. Vincent Pellegrino, he's an assistant professor of theater at, Gulf Coast State College down in Florida. And as much as we celebrate those who have gone directly into some type of theater position, we also have students who graduated from WLC in theater arts who are nurses, they're librarians, of course some have gone on to teach as well, and we celebrate them just as much as we celebrate those who went directly into the arts. But it also goes to show that you get a degree in the arts here, there are plenty of opportunities out there in the work.
Well, getting out of the classroom and meeting people in the field adds such value to our arts curriculum. And maybe tell us what makes our program unique in that way. And maybe we'll start with you, Kristen.
My favorite thing to do is to get out of the classroom. So I think Milwaukee is a great location, as we talked about before. There's there's museums, there's the zoo, and so we have all these resources and great parks too that we're just within a few minutes drive. And so a lot of times most of the time I take students outside to find out about the different spaces and opportunities to learn from and use as resources, creative resources. And so I highly believe in the field trips. They get to know people in the fields, in the different fields too. So again, I have a strong interest in nature. And so we're meeting naturalists and biologists and scientists as well. And then just practical hands-on experiences. So I've been the artist in residence. I've been blessed to be, selected at different national parks. And so with 3 of them, I was actually able to bring students with me. So they went to Mesa Verde, Glacier, Rocky Mountain National Park, and made art right alongside me. So it's just fantastic. We've made murals for schools and social settings, and just volunteering as well as part of my classes too. So I think it's just really, it is really vital to get students inspired and excited about learning, and definitely outside of the classroom is one of those ways.
Jeremy?
So like I mentioned before, there's lots of great opportunities here in Milwaukee for our students to get out and see lots of different things, the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, the Florentine Opera Company, the Milwaukee Ballet, and there are a number of other ensembles and concert opportunities that are all around us. Here on campus, we have our own performing arts series that brings high-quality performances and artists from all over the world right here to the Schwann Concert Hall, and many of those performers provide master classes for our students to get hands-on opportunities to learn and to have their own work critiqued by professionals. You know, our ensembles, our choir and our band have a long history of touring nationally and internationally, and provide our students with fantastic experiences and opportunities to share their faith in the message of WLC as well. And that's something that's actually fairly unique among colleges, and especially colleges our size, that we're able to undertake those kinds of trips with our performing ensembles. I'd also like to point out that our music education majors have enjoyed 100% job placement for the last decade. They're out in the many high-quality public schools that we have in the Milwaukee area, doing their clinicals and their student teaching. And when they graduate from this place, they are fought over by school districts needing band and choir directors and general music teachers. And finally, you know, the music faculty here models what a full spectrum career in music looks like. So for example, our full-time and our adjunct faculty are very much engaged in giving recitals and in giving guest lectures. As a musicologist, someone who studies music history, I publish articles and book chapters and give regular presentations around the country related to my research interests. In addition, I too am also an active performing musician. I'm a guitar player, and so I play guitar in a variety of venues around town in bands and in other ensembles.
Yeah, to bounce off of what Jeremy was saying, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am an active professional actor. On camera, on stage, doing voiceovers. So my students know that they're learning from someone who is very active and who's rolling with the times. You know, whatever I learn out in the actual field, I bring back to my students. And a good example of that is all of last year, when we couldn't really do live theater. But we still found a way to have a full season of shows to serve our students. Instead of doing the show inside, we took the show outside for our first production last year. We did basically a Shakespeare in the Park style of theater. And I know the audiences absolutely loved it. It was probably the first live theater that many people got to see for many months. So it was not only a breath of fresh air for WLC, for our students and faculty and staff, but for the surrounding neighborhood as well. So we got to do a Comedy of Errors, which was directed by my colleague, Jay Searson. Students loved it, he loved it, I loved coming and watching it. And you know, there's nothing quite like doing outdoor theater, which we can't do very often during the academic year because the weather usually doesn't allow for it. But as I said, thankfully the weather did allow for this. Then after that, we did a recorded show. So students almost got to feel like what it is to be on a film set. It was specifically written as a theater piece to be recorded and edited. So the students then got the experience of performing for the camera and seeing the final product in the end. Now, our third show was student-led. It was a senior capstone project for 2 of our students. And that was a piece of live theater that we did inside the Robbie, but we had very limited seating. Nobody could sit by each other, and yet it still gave these students the opportunity to do some live theater with everything that was going on. And then our final piece that we did was a live-streamed Broadway review. So we had about 14 or 15 students involved, all singing solos from Broadway shows. So our students got the wide gamut of live theater outside, a little bit of live theater inside, the recorded version of a video show, and then the live stream version of singing for a live audience that is somewhere out there in the ether instead of right in front of you. And I tell you what, all 4 of those shows were very successful, and the students were so thankful that they still got to perform.
Well, there you have it. Simon and Kristen and Jeremy, thank you so much. It was just so great to sit and hear from you today, and so that we can spread the word about the remarkable things that are happening in the arts right here at WLC. So thank you for all that you're doing. And And if you'd like to learn more about what's happening here in the fine arts, so how you might be able to support the fine arts here at WLC, you can feel free to reach out to the three of them, or you could learn more on our website at wlc.edu. Thank you.